Hey guys, my name is Trevor Smith. Welcome to Full Burn, where we kick some tires, light some fires, and interview awesome space and defense founders and leaders across the industry. Today, I am with Philip from Starcloud. Philip, where are we today?
We are in Salt Lake City at the SmallSat conference.
Currently in the valet line.
In the valet line of the Marriott.
Yeah. See if we can get this car out of here. Do you know what we are in here? What car are we in today?
Well, I can see it says Lamborghini, but I have no idea besides that.
Well, I'm not trying to go in reverse again. Come on. All right, there we go.
So it's as temperamental as it's famous for being.
All fun cars are temperamental in their own way.
Yeah.
But Lambos historically have been the least quirky, temperamental of the supercars.
Oh yeah, okay.
And that beeping is because the front lip is very close to the ground. See if we
Okay.
can get rid of that.
Oh,
Oh my God. Lots of traffic here at SmallSat.
There's a little button for lifting up the front, but
Yeah. There we are. And we're off.
yeah.
And there's a crosswalk. Okay. We're off to a great start. So tell me about yourself. Who is Philip?
Yeah, would you like some background on my where I'm from and all that stuff?
Yeah, a little background. You got an accent.
Yeah.
Not my kind of. I have an accent as well, but
Yeah.
my mom loves the deep south. That's where I'm from.
Oh, nice. I was born in the UK and then very quickly moved to South Africa when I was 6 months old. My dad was a diplomat, so we were out there with him. And then, I'm the youngest of 5 boys. I have an identical twin brother.
Is he as handsome as you, or?
He's much skinnier than me now.
Oh.
I used to be the. No, he's skinnier than me now. He just got married and I was his best man, and I gave a speech. And I started the speech by saying, "My name's Philip. I'm the best man. Some people affectionately refer to me as the fat one," which was. He went down. I'm glad you found it funny.
But you're not fat.
Yeah.
Well,
my brother's married to his husband thinks he's thought that joke was hilarious because he thinks I am fat, which is funny. Anyway, then I moved back to the UK when I was like 5 or 6, and then was there all through about an hour south of London, all through until end of college, and then so I studied math undergrad in Nottingham in the north of England, and then went to Columbia to do a master's in applied math and theoretical physics in absolutely ages ago now, 2009, and then went to be a trader for 5 years. So I was doing currency derivatives trading in Singapore, London, and New York, like algorithmic trading. So basically writing algorithms and managing them to trade currencies, essentially.
Yeah.
And then got bored of that, went to do venture capital for a year, and then went back to grad school in the US. So then I did a joint MBA, MPA, so MBA at Wharton, MPA at Harvard Kennedy School. And then after that, I went to McKinsey for a few years in the Middle East, where I was working with the space agencies of the UAE and Saudi government. That's how I came into the space sector. And then in between then and now, founded another company, a digital brands aggregator. I founded Starcloud in early last year, January last year.
And it was called Lumen Orbit when you started.
Yes, it was called Lumen Orbit.
What was the pivot?
Well, so Lumen Orbit, the name was actually generated by ChatGPT when I was in Saudi, and I'd never been to Seattle or anything. And I just said, like, we're basically building enormous solar panels to collect energy to run whatever compute or anything else in space. And that was one of the names it generated. I thought, that sounds cool. I can get the .com for it, lumenorbit.com. So I was like, fine, let's do that. And then I flew into Seattle. Like, we started the company in LA.
Were there beers involved in this decision? Or a pint?
It was Saudi Arabia, so it's a dry country.
That's true, yeah.
I flew into Seattle, and so we started the company in LA. We quickly realized all of the people we want to hire in Redmond, because you have Starlink there, Kuiper, AWS, and Azure. So first time I flew into Seattle, we flew over this stadium. It's called Lumen Field, and I was like, what a good omen. I was like, it's meant to be. We're meant to be here. And it is sponsored by Lumen Technology. So it turns out our builders of data centers.
Oh, no way.
And are not particularly keen on other people using the word lumen in data centers. So they sent us a cease and desist.
Guys, we're going to space. You're on Earth. There's a huge difference.
There is a huge difference, yeah. They sent us a cease and desist, and so we were like, okay, well, they have $5 billion, and we have not $5 billion.
$5 billion.
Actually, to be honest, I much prefer the new name now, so it's a good.
I like the new name.
Yeah. And we got the .com for it, and it's cool.
Yeah. So thanks for your background on that. What inspired you? What was like hey, I want to go build data centers, or did you sort of fall into that? Like, was that like the idea from day one?
It was not the idea from day one. The idea from day one was essentially, we were really looking at space-based solar in general. And I think what inspired it, so, I mean, I've been a space nerd for my whole life, and I wanted to be an astronaut as a kid and all this stuff. I went down I'd been following the SpaceX, Starship program since, I think, probably early 2020, when they were doing the Hopper tests. And I don't know if you watch Marcus House and like Everyday Astronaut and all those guys. Did you ever watch them?
Yeah. Everyday
Astronaut, yeah, and Scott Manley, and there's a whole bunch of NASA Spaceflight. So I'd been watching those guys for like years, and my last company, we ended up selling it to a Turkish competitor. I was looking for other stuff to do basically, and I was thinking, if I do another company, it's going to be in something I'm like mega passionate about, and something I really care about and will be proud of and want to see in the world that doesn't exist now. And I could see that the launch cost was coming down extremely rapidly from my time both at McKinsey and also just from following what's happening with SpaceX. So in 2023...
I'm going to pull over for a second. Yeah. We're going to keep talking. We're going to have some fun in a second.
Okay, perfect. Sounds great. You're going to floor it.
Yeah.
Nice. In 2023, I went down to Starbase, Texas, where they're building the Starship program, and I was just blown away by the scale of what they're building. Not only is the cost of launch going to come down very significantly, maybe 10x, maybe more than that. What really struck me is these Starship gigafactories that they're building are designed to produce, many Starships a day. I think it's like 3 Starships a day they're expected to churn out.
Every 8 hours.
Yeah, absolutely mind-blowing.
We're not going to get our launch window right now.
Yeah.
We're not going to get our launch window. Sorry.
All good. Yeah, no, this is not the right spot. So I was thinking, okay, then the launch cost might come down by 10x, but what's going to happen is these Starships are not going anywhere. It's not like Falcon 9. If you build a new Falcon 9 every day for a year, at the end of the year, you have one Falcon 9 upstage. If you build a new Starship every day for a year, at the end of the year, you have 365 Starships. So what is potentially going to happen is the launch cost is going to come down 100x, and the launch capacity could go up 10,000x, as in the amount of stuff we can get to Earth to orbit, because number one, you're reflying them way more frequently. Number two, you don't have to rebuild the upstage so everything compounds on itself. And number three, it has 5 times payload capacity, or 5 to 10 times the payload capacity.
Yeah.
So you could be looking at, in 5 years' time, 100,000 times the current payload, or let's say 10,000 times the current payload capacity that we have to get stuff to orbit in 1 year. And when you have these numbers, things like space-based solar, which is not a new concept, it's an idea from the 70s where you have enormous solar panels in space and you somehow get that power back either by beaming it down or something else. These kinds of concepts become within the realm of possibility when you have this kind of launch capacity. So
I know a thing or two about solar arrays. Selfish plug.
Yeah, I don't need to. I'm preaching to the choir, as they say in England. I basically got in touch with Ezra, who's my co-founder, and we started looking at how viable would space-based solar. What would the launch cost need to be for space-based solar to make sense? And the number we came to was roughly sort of on the order of $50 a kilo launch price for space-based solar to make sense. And then we were like, okay, well, almost all new energy projects terrestrially are being built right now to power data centers. So it's quite likely that this new power capacity we're bringing online in some indirect or direct way is going to be going into powering data centers. So let's rerun the numbers, assuming we had a cheap way to get the data center to space. A $50 a kilo launch price or something else. What would the launch price need to be for us to be break even versus terrestrial data centers if that's how we're doing it, rather than beaming the power down. Because the problem you have with beaming power down is you lose 95 or 90% of the
transmission loss.
In the transmission getting it down, right? So essentially, we reran the numbers, assuming that we had, could get these data centers to space, and the launch price we came to was on the order of $400 to $500 a kilo for us to be break even versus terrestrial data centers or terrestrial energy use cases, including the launch cost.
And we're not far from that now.
And we're not too far. I mean, Falcon Heavy launch price used to be about $1,500 a kilo. I think it's gone up from there.
It's going up.
Yeah.
Supply and demand.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, I think we're paying $6,000 a kilo for our first launch. That's on Falcon 9, and that's pretty. That's on the low end of what Falcon 9 launch price. Even if you're buying the full rocket, it's kind of coming in around there. But $500 a kilo is certainly within the realm of possibility with reusable rockets. And so that's essentially how we got going.
And so you were like, if we can build it, we should do the data center component in space.
Yeah.
Instead of just beaming power down.
Yeah.
Because of loss of transmission.
Exactly. It makes much more sense to build data center in space. And so we put together a white paper laying out the calculations that I've just explained to you. And that became basically the basis of the company.
You have a matrix of costs on your website. I saw.
Yeah.
So what was the day of inception, if you will, for this pivot from space-based solar power over to data centers? Like, what did that look like?
It was very early.
Co-founder were like, we're going to start this company. What was that day like? Or was it like things leading up to it?
That was very early into the process. The day of inception was essentially me messaging Ezra saying, Ezra, the launch cost is going to come down very dramatically. I can get this thing funded. I know there's going to be 100 different businesses that are going to be viable with a lower launch cost than currently are.
Yeah.
I'm not a space engineer, but I know how the commercials of this are going to work. I can do the commercial side of things if you can do the data centers in space, or if you can do the thing in space that will make sense with lower launch cost in future that doesn't make sense now. That was the start of it, and then we got introduced through a friend to Adi, who was at SpaceX at the time, and he'd actually been having very similar thoughts about data centers. But the day of inception was the launch cost is coming down. I know I can get any business which will make sense with a lower launch cost than currently, that doesn't currently make sense now. I know I can figure out the commercials off based on fundraising and customer side.
Yeah.
But we need an absolutely kick-ass engineering team to make this work. And Ezra is an absolutely kick-ass engineer. And then, Adi also on that side of things.
I saw a podcast you were being interviewed, and we don't need to go into the depth of the question, but something like you interviewed 10,000 people or 1,000 people.
No, we filtered 10,000 CVs.
You filtered, sorry. But you filtered a lot.
We interviewed a lot of people as well.
To get that core team.
Yeah.
So you are active, to say the least, on Twitter and LinkedIn.
I'm very prolific.
My goodness, I see you on my stream just multiple times an hour. So my question leading up to that, what are some of the concerns from the general public about putting data centers in space? Like, talk to me about the pros and cons of doing an effort like this.
Yeah. The concerns of the general public are a bit different than the concerns of investors and are a bit different than the concerns of customers. The concerns of the general public seem to be things like orbital debris and demisability on re-entry and astronomy concerns from the astronomy community. Concerns from investors are more on things. Concerns from physicists are more on things like, how are you going to solve this heat dissipation problem? How are you going to make the chips work in a high radiation environment? And then concerns from customers customers and investors are things like, what's the regulatory environment for such a large structure? How are you going to manage your data backhaul expenses? How are you going to ease into this such that you don't need to spend so much CapEx up front? Build it over time, basically.
So you started the company 2 years ago?
Yeah, January last year, so a year and a half.
So I love asking this question, and it doesn't have to be applicable to Starcloud. It could be just your general history as an entrepreneur. But what is something crazy that you had to do to either save a program or get an investor's money or win a customer over, like maybe get a Lamborghini and take them out for a drive? I don't know. But like, do you have a fun sort of story?
There's a lot from my like history in general. Like when
you can't see, he's blushing just a little bit.
when we started my last company, we were trying to raise venture debt, and we were based in Dubai. We were trying to launch in Saudi Arabia, and none of the venture debt people would fund us if we had a Saudi 51% partner, which you need to have as a foreign entity.
Yeah.
And basically what it involved is I flew to Riyadh and I didn't leave for 2 months. And I sat outside the office of the Minister of Foreign Investment. And I basically begged this guy for 2 months to give us this exemption. We were the first people ever to get an exemption on this 51% ownership law. And at the end of 2 months, I got like an exemption that enabled us to be 100% foreign-owned entity, and that allowed us to get venture debt from US funds, and that basically enabled us to get going with the business.
What pushed him over the edge to make the exemption?
I think he was just annoyed that I was sitting outside of his office for like 2 months. No, I mean I put together all these fancy slides. I used to be at McKinsey. If you can tie what you're doing with the goals of the Vision 2030. Like the Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman has this Vision 2030, like all these different pillars of economic growth, and one of them is foreign investment into SMEs. And
Sorry.
Oh, here we go. Oh, nice. Nice.
So I can't go over a certain speed limit. There's a GPS tracker.
Okay, yeah.
The car shuts down, so we wouldn't want that to happen.
Okay.
They got real close.
Yeah, that was beautiful.
Yeah, Utah has some weird regulations around rental cars.
Oh, really interesting. The car will literally shut down.
Yeah, the car will shut. Not like as you're driving, but like you can't take it very far.
Oh wow, crazy.
So I don't know if that's true or not, but the guy told me that. So maybe he just didn't want me to speed. I don't know.
Yeah. So that was one thing. I mean, we used to do things like in the middle of the night we'd like drive from Riyadh to Kuwait to deliver like a shipment of product that we were trying to sell, to make sure that an influencer had this product so they could promote it in time for like Valentine's Day and shit like that. It was like crazy. Like during COVID as well, the borders weren't open, and we were like trying to get stuff across the borders. But in this current company, there's definitely been a few like very last minute flights. Like for example, when we got our Y Combinator interview, me and Addy were in Redmond and Ezra was back in the UK trying to sell his house. And I was like, it's going to look terrible if you get on this interview and you're joining from a remote call. Yeah. And the interview was literally in like 15 hours and it's a 10-hour flight. I was like, Ezra, drive to Heathrow Airport, get on a fucking flight and be in the office when we do this interview, because it's going to look terrible.
It's a live interview?
You're on Zoom, but it'll be me and Addy in the workshop with the Starcloud logo in the background, and it'll be Ezra, the CTO, sitting in London. And I was like, look, we want to get into Y Combinator. It's going to cost $1,000 in 24 hours of your life to just get on this fucking flight. So drive to Heathrow Airport and get on this fucking flight.
That is quite wild.
I hope you'll excuse my expletives.
No,
it's because we're in a Lamborghini. Like.
Hey, it brings out the emotions.
Yeah.
No, this is not a show for kids. You're welcome to use whatever language you want. What is something advice you would give? So you're year 2 founder, at least for this company, but you founded another company.
Yeah.
What is like year 0 advice you would give to a year 0 founder? Right, so something maybe to look out for or something to do. Any advice for those early founders?
Yeah. I am very much of the belief that you should like spend time getting valuable experience. I know some people say just found immediately, and I'm sure that can work for some people, and particularly absolutely kick-ass software engineers that can work. But starting, you don't necessarily need to be a VC-backed thing to start building stuff. I think getting experience building just things you're interested in is super valuable. Working with people you respect, working at other startups, I think can be super valuable if you want to be a founder. It depends, I guess, on what stage of life you are and things like that, but and what you're trying to do. But I think getting experience working with people you want to work with and respect is a good way to start.
So you told me before we started recording, you love conspiracies, little tinfoil hats.
I love like alien
things.
But I wouldn't say conspiracy necessarily. I mean, I love like discussing how long it will take us to build the Dyson sphere, and that's my like jam. But go on, hit me with some
let's
conspiracies.
Start with that. How long will it take us? Go on. Tell us what a Dyson sphere is, other than the vacuum cleaner.
What
is the Dyson sphere? Describe what that is and how long until humanity gets there.
Yeah, so Dyson sphere is the maximum amount of energy that you could harness from any given star system, and the general design of it is you surround a star in as much solar panels as you can. It would actually much more like be a Dyson swarm, so it's basically a whole bunch of orbiting solar panels. And I'm quite interested in the concept of a Matrioshka brain, which is Dyson spheres in Dyson spheres in Dyson spheres, because a Dyson sphere emits an infrared, and then you could catch that infrared in theory and then use that to power stuff. And if you use that energy to power compute, then you approach the physical limit of the amount of intelligence any given star system could have.
Wow.
And that's called a Matrioshka brain. And I quite like the idea that there are already Matrioshka brains in our galaxy, because they'd be very difficult to detect, and they would have a similar signature to a black hole, actually. Do you know there's about 100 million black holes in our galaxy alone?
Quite a few.
Yeah.
I hope I never get to the event horizon on one of them. But
yeah, it seems extremely unlikely that you would. They have a very short, small diameter, like kilometers in diameter, which is tiny compared to, But I didn't realize there's so many. I found this out like literally a week ago. That there's like 100 million black holes just in our galaxy. I thought there was one supermassive black hole in the center of our galaxy, and then you're good. You're not going to hit another black hole.
Lots.
There's just in our galaxy. There's shitloads of black holes. Anyway.
Well, when they went to turn on the Large Hadron Collider for the first time, there was concern that they would create a black hole on Earth.
Yeah.
Which I'm like, do we flip it on? Do we leave it off? What do we do here?
Yeah. So what was the question? Oh yeah, how long would it take to build a Matrioshka brain or a Dyson sphere? Actually something I've not really run the numbers, but my very rough hunch would be in the hundreds of thousands of years range. Yeah. Which is not that long in galactic timeframes. I mean, that's really the blink of an eye, actually. I'm very interested in
100,000 years, not that long.
I mean,
but in retrospect,
it's the blink of an eye. It's basically, compared to evolutionary timescales or anything else, that is really a very short period of time. What I think, it could be the case that any intelligent star system within 100,000 years produces a Matryoshka brain. Like that is the natural end state, and 100,000 years. That's really like you go for 4 billion years. Here we go.
Yeah. There we go. Woo! There we go.
I was worried coming out of that corner.
I got a little. You got the all-wheel drive.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, so I didn't mention this, but it is a Lamborghini. You were correct. It is the Lamborghini Huracán Performante Spider.
Sick.
V10, 620 horsepower, all-wheel drive.
Wow.
And you got to experience a little bit of that. Oh, I love the back pressure.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Pops.
Yeah. Here we go.
There we go.
Nice.
Just sounds lovely.
Oh, it's beautiful. I love it.
There we go. So I usually have the alien question later in the conversation, but you've already brought it up, so.
Yeah, go on.
Anyone you know, or have you been visited by extraterrestrials or seen anything that looks extraterrestrial, or do you currently have a probe in your body right now?
No.
No probes?
No probes. I'm pretty certain that has not happened to anybody on Earth. Or I'm my type of like wacky after a joint discussions are usually around how we would get to Alpha Centauri, and it turns out it's really not that difficult. Like, we could get to Alpha Centauri in the best route would be about 57,000 years. If you want to minimize your delta V, you can do it with about 15 kilometers a second of delta V, launching from Earth without going via Jupiter. 15 kilometers a second of delta V is nothing. You can put that on Astro Digital has a 600 kilogram bus. If you pack that full of xenon, you have 15 kilometers a second of delta V. Yeah. You just ping it off. Alpha Centauri is coming towards us at about 26 kilometers a second. It will have its closest path in around 17,000 years, and then it will continue on. But you want to hit, if you're trying to minimize delta V, you want to hit the tangential intercept between us and
kind of like timing up the Mars every 2 years.
Yeah. So basically the optimal time to hit it is 57,000 years. We could send a probe now for like $10 million that would get to Alpha Centauri in 57,000 years. In fact, don't want to reveal too much, but I'm very keen to make this happen.
You get some money in the bank.
Yeah.
Let's go make it happen.
Yeah, 100%.
Or find
It's going to happen. It's going to happen very soon, I think.
Yeah. What would you do with that, other than say we sent it? Like, how would that be advantageous?
Just put some, like the golden record from Voyager probes. Put that on there. You put.
Are you not concerned about, Hawking had this
revealing our location?
No. You're pinging the universe and telling them where you are, and then they come and destroy us.
No.
No, you're not worried about that.
I'm pretty convinced that there is a type of life which is expansionary. Humans are a good example of that type of life. Yeah. Like, if we were to just continue for another 10 million years, which is, again, a blink of an eye in galactic scales, we would easily settle the galaxy. Now, if any civilization like that had ever existed in the 10 or 12 billion year history of the galaxy would be settled within 10 million years, so within the blink of an eye, which to me is very worrying. That this is, like the idea of the Fermi paradox. Yeah. Like, where the hell is everybody? I think we should see life everywhere in the galaxy. It shouldn't be difficult to find life in the galaxy. And the fact that we don't implies to me that either intelligent life is unbelievably rare, which I think is probably less likely, or intelligent life for some reason is quite short-lived. And that seems to me much more likely.
And concerning.
And very concerning. And I would guess, if I had to hazard a guess at the reason, it would be that superintelligence is self-destructive for some reason. You
get to a certain, intelligence level, and it's like, okay, we're better off not being here.
Or these things fight each other. Like, if you had a swarm of killer drones, they would wipe out everything extremely quickly. They'd certainly wipe out humanity quickly, but they would wipe out each other very quickly as well. And I think one of the reasons I'm so keen to get something to Alpha Centauri is just to prove that it's so easy. It would be so easy to colonize the galaxy, and we should be extremely scared in the next, 57,000 years might sound like a long time, but it's not a long time. We should be scared in the next 50 years that we don't get to a point where we're destroying ourselves. Yeah.
So, do you think in the next 50 years, we will get to a point where we could transplant consciousness into some sort of AI computer and we all live forever?
Yes.
Have you read the
yes,
book, the Babaverse?
I've not, no.
Oh, you would love them.
Oh, yeah?
Von Neumann probes, do you know what
von Neumann probes, yeah.
So it's basically AI, computer, von Neumann probe.
Okay.
But do you think we will get to a point where we can
100%.
basically make
Von Neumann
ourselves
probes
robots?
don't need to be conscious, by the way. Either they could just go out and replicate. But
No, but
it would be nice if they were.
If I wanted to live for a lot longer than the typical human lifespan.
Yes, I personally believe in 50 years that will be possible.
I actually do too.
Yeah.
But it makes my next question immediately is if you believe you have a soul and a consciousness, how does that get transferred? Right? Like,
well, I definitely have a
arm.
Consciousness. I don't really know what people mean by soul, but I'm definitely am conscious, and I think I could be conscious in different forms.
Yeah.
It's unclear to me if the type of consciousness we have now is replicable in silicon, but even if it's not, you would just replicate it in a bioform.
In an organic form.
Yeah, I don't think it would be particularly difficult to replicate the neurosystem of the brain in say 50 years, and you would just replicate the interesting bits. You would just replicate because there's only about 100 million in and out electrodes or neurons that connect your brain to the rest of your body. 100 million is really not that much either. I mean, if you had an enormous amount of compute, like let's say the compute that we have in a data center right now, you could very easily fire 100 million of these things in a coherent way to re-simulate reality.
Wow.
Do you not think? I mean, like the brain in the vat thing seems very possible to me.
That's why I think it's feasible.
So you probably wouldn't bother replicating the bits of the brain that aren't conscious. You would probably only replicate the bits that generate consciousness, and you would do all of the computation in silicon.
Yeah.
If really what you're trying to do is just replicate consciousness.
So would you put yourself in your consciousness in a body that could live a lot longer? Would you choose to do that?
Yeah, I might. I think we'll do much more interesting things than that, though. I think the type of consciousness that humans experience now will be very primitive compared to what's possible in terms of conscious experience.
Like what Neuralink is bringing up to speed?
What Neuralink is bringing up to speed, but yeah, I think like if you've ever done hallucinogens, you'll realize there's a whole lot more consciousness than we could be experiencing, and I think we'll definitely explore with that. There does seem to be a one-to-one correlate with physical processes and conscious experience, and so I would be very intrigued to experiment with much more interesting forms of consciousness than we currently have. What about you? Would you do it?
Would I do it? I think if my wife, because I love my wife, she would do it with me, so I wouldn't want to be alone. I'd be very lonely to lose my loved one. So yes, with some caveats. For sure. What technology from sci-fi future would you bring forward today? Would you like to see happen today?
That's definitely one of them, and that's, I think, one of the most important ones. I'm definitely a believer, and in agreement with Elon, that is one of the few things that might save us from being discarded as irrelevant by future superintelligences. So I think that is definitely one.
What is the thing that you would bring forward from sci-fi?
Connecting digital and biological intelligence through some kind of Neuralink interface.
So what we've been talking about. Okay.
I think that's one of the most critical things to accelerate, because it's one of the few things that
it's the first answer like that I've had.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Which is surprising for a bunch of space nerds, but you're doing data centers, lots of compute, kind of makes sense.
I mean, I also do think there's a reasonable chance we are living in a simulation, and I do think if we're not, then we will certainly create billions of things that think they are living in a simulation on a sort of 50 to 100 year time frame, and they will all run on things like this Matrioshka brain. So it's certainly, consciousness, I think, is maybe the most interesting unsolved mystery. Like this hard problem of consciousness, the idea of you could explain everything in physical terms, but it still wouldn't solve the idea of where and what and how consciousness forms and arises, and qualia and intentionality and sensation. All of these things are that is an extremely interesting the only and main unsolved mystery as far as I'm concerned. And it's when Elon talks about making life or spreading consciousness out into the galaxy, I think he really is talking about consciousness. He's not necessarily just talking about
physical body,
human life and whatever. I think he's really talking about because we could just be this vast darkness, and it could be that human life is the only candle of light or consciousness in the entire galaxy. When I say darkness, I don't mean wavelengths of light from stars. Those exist, but is there anything? If there's nothing to experience it, if there's no conscious experience of it, then we are just a vast darkness. Personally, I find consciousness one of the most interesting topics.
I do too. I really do.
Yeah.
All right, so this one is a bit of a hot take question.
Go on.
So, without naming a specific company, and you're in the startup world, you see a lot of different companies, you see a lot of pitches. Are there, let's call it snake oil? Is there any technology that might be pitched and being funded that should not be funded? That's just really just not responsible.
There's a lot.
Give me topics. Don't name any companies. Give me topics.
Yeah,
we don't want to.
I certainly won't. No, I certainly wouldn't name any names. I mean, I can tell you, I got one pitch deck from this company that's trying to. Because it's so obviously a scam, I think I can talk about it. But it's a company that's trying to SPAC right now for $400 million. It has. I looked at the team on LinkedIn. I think there's only one full-time person who doesn't have a space background, and I think they're doing. What were they doing? Maybe it's a new launch vehicle or something. And it came to me from some Hong Kong fund, and it was like apparently they're trying to SPAC on a Hong Kong exchange, and they're trying to make $400 million. They don't have a team. They don't have any contracts or anything.
And what is the business that they're trying to SPAC?
I think it might be a new launch vehicle.
Oh, a new launch vehicle.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, but new launch vehicle is not snake oil. But that's more like
that
a scam.
Particular company. Maybe that's a scam.
Like
actual technologies that I don't think
without fuel. Maybe that's crazy.
Well, everything I think will definitely be a big business and is definitely viable. But propulsion, I see what you're saying. Well, I do have to be a bit careful here because there's only a few.
I've seen companies that are like, hey, I can build this thrust propulsion without any fuel and it blah blah blah, and you're like, how do you get something for nothing? Sounds a little snake oil to me.
Yeah, the problem with these, there's usually only one company doing each version of it.
Yeah.
So you have to be a bit careful,
so
like calling them out.
Version, you know the company.
Yeah. And
you can pass.
The other thing is, I usually, if I am unconvinced by technology, I will usually give all of the credit I would give to that company will be in the weight of the experience of the founder. So there are technologies where I'm skeptical, but if the founder comes from a background where they should know, I'm happy to buy it. If the founder doesn't, then that's when I'm like extremely skeptical. When I say founder, I mean like CTO, chief engineer, or like the core team.
To your point, it's you name the vertical, and you're like, oh, I know the two companies he's talking about.
Yeah.
The industry is a bit small when you start targeting that.
Yeah. The ones I think that get mentioned frequently are ones where. In general, I'm more of an optimist than a pessimist on these things, and I think, for example, like people are skeptical of the ones where I'm an optimist, where lots of people are pessimistic, are things where if the launch cost was 10 or 100x cheaper, it would work, and like these usually are in the realm of things like asteroid mining and lunar resource mining and all these things. I am personally quite optimistic that we should be starting working on them now because it's not too long before the launch cost becomes viable. I know lots of other people have been burnt in the past, and people who invested and lost money and whatever.
To your point, Rob Meyerson's a friend of mine at Interlude.
Yeah.
Rob, incredible background.
Exactly.
Blue Origin.
He has the perfect background to do it.
Had he pitched that idea in the 1970s or 80s, we might have called that snake oil.
Yeah.
But today, to your point, with launch costs and technology and what's already happened, like totally not. Like it probably will happen.
Yeah.
So things that might even seem like snake oil today could totally get funded in 10 years, right? Just depending on technology. And
yeah. Yeah, and could be viable, you know, in
Could totally be viable.
in that time frame. Yeah.
But one person's back at 400 million. Seems like a scam.
Yeah, I guess that's more in the scam realm. Yeah.
So, are you a car as petrol head, as they say in the Brits say?
Petrol head. I'm not really sure. No, I've never. I like, you know, I've always. I like Lambos and Ferraris. I like to turn my head, and I think they're cool, and I would like to have one, but I don't know much about them.
You would enjoy them, but you're not like enthusiastically researching them like I am. Specking out the new models. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. Oh, by the way, what do you drive? I didn't get to.
Currently I have a Ford Raptor because I take my son. We go dirt bike riding, and we put the motorcycles in the back. But had a few fun cars. Aston Martin.
Oh, nice.
Had a
Nissan
GTR.
Yeah.
When we had our first kid, this was great. My wife said, you have to have 4 doors. So I had to sell the Aston Martin.
Yeah.
The only requirement was for 4 doors. So me, being a petrol head, gearhead, I brought home a 4-door car, which was a 900 horsepower twin turbo V8 Mercedes. And she goes, I didn't know I needed to put a restriction on horsepower. I said, look, 1, 2, 3, 4 doors. And she loved driving it. But,
nice. Yeah, 900 horsepower. That's almost like a Bugatti Veyron.
Yeah, it's faster than this car, ironically. But yeah, it was fun. That was not a stock car, by the way.
Blimey.
Yeah.
Wow.
So not a car guy, but you enjoy driving one.
Yeah.
What's the fastest you've been in a vehicle, like a land vehicle?
Nothing mega impressive. Probably like maybe 120 or 130. Yeah. And what's the fastest you've been? I guess you've done the autobahns in Germany and
I never have done the autobahn.
Oh, yeah?
I really got to get over there and test out the tires to see how fast they can go.
Oh, nice.
But I've done 200.
Oh, well, nice.
Miles per hour. 9 kilometers.
Yeah.
So that was a lot of fun. I just want to do it one time, just to say that I've done it.
That's impressive.
Yeah, I was on a bike.
Oh, holy shit. That would scare the crap out of me.
So the stripe lines that you see in the middle of the road.
Yeah, just blurred into one.
One solid white line. It was so fast.
Wow.
It was a lot of fun. So if you had a blank check, what vehicle would you go get? And it doesn't have to be a car. It could be anything.
I think I would get a Cybertruck.
You get with a blank check, you go get a $30,000 truck. Tesla.
I thought it's like
a blank check.
It's like $100,000.
So I will not accept that answer.
All right, okay, let me rethink.
You got to give me a better answer. I've heard, G550s, Gulfstreams, fighter jets, old Corvettes,
any vehicle.
Any vehicle, any boats. Vehicle. What's your vice? Data center. You just go build a data center. Blank check. You just go build a data center.
Can I have a Crew Dragon?
A Crew Dragon. That is a new one. That's a new answer.
I'll take a Crew Dragon.
What would you do with a Crew Dragon?
I mean, I'd love to orbit the poles and see the Northern Lights from above.
Wow. Have you seen the Northern Lights?
I've seen it from Norway. Yeah, incredible.
I went to Iceland last year.
Oh, sick.
It was so
amazing.
Much fun.
Yeah. And this is right at the peak of a solar cycle as well, 10-year cycle. People should see the Northern Lights.
Yes.
What I really would love to see is the galaxy, like the Milky Way from low Earth orbit. I've heard
the pictures from the Mars rover look insane.
I didn't see that. I did
just pictures of stars from
Mars. Yeah. I want to see the galactic core, that band in particular. I've heard when you read some of the testimonies from some of the astronauts, that's one of the things they talk about is like when you see that from low Earth orbit and it's so clear, because you can't really see the galaxy with a naked eye. I mean, you can see it looks like a cloud almost, or like a faint fuzz. But when you see that from low Earth orbit and it's so clear, the feeling that people describe is, it's not that's the galaxy, it's we're the galaxy.
We are in it.
We're in the galaxy. We're part of this thing. Yeah. We're spinning around the center, and and I would love to have that experience.
So you're a sci-fi nerd. I'm safe to say that.
Actually, I don't even know too much about sci-fi. I mean, I've watched a few.
I got the N-word brain. I can't even pronounce it.
Matrioshka brain. To me, I don't see these things as sci-fi. I see these things as, maybe you might call me a bit of a futurist. No, I really hate that word too. Because futurist to me implies I like things that are real, and I really think that is like going to happen. Either that happens or we wipe ourselves out.
So as a futurist, then.
Go on. Oh God, I really hate the word. Every futurist I know is like, the problem with futurists is they don't do anything.
Okay, as someone who is forward-looking in technology,
yeah, go on.
Any books or movies that you like with that mindset?
The podcast I most like is Cool Worlds by David Kipping. He's an astronomer at Columbia University. He is by far the closest to my worldview of any of these, like, sort of, his research is in alien, or it's in other, extraterrestrial life, and there's types of signatures that he's looking for, exactly the types of signatures that I'm interested in. He was on Lex. He's just recently went on Joe Rogan, and that is to a letter my philosophy on extraterrestrials and all this kind of sci-fi-ish stuff. The reason I don't like sci-fi is because I don't like the fact it's fi. I think it should be.
You don't like the fi part?
I don't like the fi part. Just call it sci.
All right. I think this last question. Any guests that you would recommend come on a future episode? That would be fun and enjoyable.
Did you have Rob Myson on?
No, he will be on. Rob,
nice.
I know we're texting.
He's awesome.
I sent him a picture of this car, and he was like, "Dang it, I wish I was there." So Rob will come on at some point.
Did you have Jeff Thornburg on?
He was episode 1.
Oh, really?
Yeah, his first one.
Nice.
He was my guinea pig.
Oh, yeah?
So you're picking great people so far.
How about Andrew from Starcatcher? Oh, no, I guess they can't even be a customer, probably not anyway. So.
No, but they're working with you, and I would love to meet him. And yeah, he's down in Florida, right?
He's in Florida.
Yeah.
What about the otter pup?
Starfish.
Starfish. Yeah.
Chatting with him. Yeah,
nice.
I think they will be getting on a future episode. But yeah, would love to get Andrew from Starcatcher, not to be confused with Starcloud.
Yeah.
The one you guys are doing a collaboration together.
Yeah. The one you have to have on is Matt from Astroforge.
Oh,
he's a great podcaster.
You're like the fourth person that's told me that.
Oh yeah, he's like animated and he'll love this. Like
Matt, I need to get you on. All right, we are pulling back in.
Nice.
Philip, I've had a lot of fun, man.
Me too.
You're a really smart guy. Very smart.
That's very kind.
At least
flattering of you.
All sorts of fun, because like this kind of conversation, I love having.
Yeah, me too.
Transplanting consciousness and expanding that.
Yeah, me too.
Love that. So we're here, and I appreciate you jumping on the pod.
Thanks so much.
We're gonna hop out.
I appreciate you.
Keep doing small sat conference stuff.
Yeah,
Thanks guys for watching. Trevor Smith, Full Burn, and Philip from Starcloud. Catch you next time.